Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Thoughts from the Shepherd's Heart. I'm Pastor Henry Sanders in Faith Outreach Christian Center here in Navasota, Texas. We've been talking to you this month dealing with being contented in Christ Jesus. We've discovered that discontentment is a horrible situation that we get our lives into when we're looking for things and people and circumstances to bring the contentment into our lives. Therefore, we keep searching and keep going for it. You know, there's a song years ago, it was called, He Was There All the Time. It says, time after time, I went searching for peace in some form. And I think that's true for all of us until we come to really know Christ and his loving love toward us, his work of grace that he's performed in us, and the transformation that he's made in us. So we're going to continue today and probably finish up this series and start another one next month in October. But we've talked about how to be contented is to be satisfied, is to be happy, to be fulfilled with what you have, who you are, where you are, who you're with. But our whole society today is very discontented. I mean, we have things happening. Maybe you can figure this out. When you look around, you see people that are unhappy, they're unfulfilled, they're dissatisfied, they're ungrateful, they're unthankful, they're unappreciative, they've become disillusioned, they're discouraged all the time, they're depressed, they're vexed in their spirit, they're frustrated. They're complaining and criticizing all the time. Now, that probably tells you a lot of the people around in your life because they are looking for something in this world to bring that special place and feeling of completion and contentment. And it's not there. I mean, I don't care what it is. You can go buy something new and it'll get old. Go buy something that you really like and it's out of style next year. Go buy you a real nice computer, and in a few years, it's out of, you got to go get it updated. Everything is, you just can't put your heart into things of this world thinking it's going to bring contentment. It's just like getting married. We get married when we're young, and then we get older. And as we get older, things change. And we have to be contented in that process with the person we're married to and in life situations and put our contentment in Christ. Everything else changes. Jesus is the only one that said he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So our contentment must be in him. By the way, that condition of discontentment is contagious. When you're discontented, people around you get discontented. And actually, it's a spiritual problem because you're looking for something to take the place of only what God can do. And 1 Corinthians 10:10, Paul was relating to the children of Israel, said how they come out of Egypt and they murmured, and some of them murmured and they were destroyed by the destroyer because they were just so discontented about where they were. Discontentment is people make a lot of bad choices when they're discontented. They're more concerned with what they don't have than what they do have. And I see this in our society today. It's always get bigger, get better, get more. That's just not the way that our lives should be formed and fashioned after. These people that are discontented, they seek their contentment in other people, other places, another position, more money, more materialism. And therefore, they're going from job to job. They're going from relationship to relationship, house to house, car to car, town to town, church to church. They're continually moving, thinking, this is going to bring me contentment. Only Jesus can bring you that kind of contentment. Truthfully, that kind of contentment is sinful because we're looking for everything else to be unto us what only Jesus can be. Only he can be the true satisfaction of your soul. I like what David said in Psalm 62, verse 5. My soul waits only upon God, for my expectations are from him. So discontentment will work to get us out of focus in life and distract us from the desired place that we should be. You know, the sin of discontentment will pull you out of the will of God. Man, I could preach a whole day on this, and I see this all around me. I went to Bible college with a lot of people, and you know, they wanted to get in the ministry, and they wanted to be the evangelists, they wanted to be the pastors, they wanted to be the missionaries, you know. And how many knows that those expectations are great, but think, when you get out there and you're really in the woods of it, in the deep of it, and you know, you find out it wasn't near what you thought it was going to be. In fact, this is going to be more difficult than you ever thought it'd be. And you start trying to find your contentment in things other than being in the will of God. I'm going to tell you, the will of God, being in the will of God, is the answer for your heart's desires, your longings, for your contentment. It's being there. It doesn't make any difference where it's at or what you're doing with. It's being there in the will of God. You know, Jesus came to fulfill his Father's will, being in the will of the Father. And we find we're complete in Christ as we allow him to have his way in us. The other thing here I want to talk to you about is the Lord is only the only one that can satisfy the longing in your life. There's a song I used to sing this years ago. It says, the world will try to satisfy the longings in your soul. You may search the wide world o'er, but you'll be just as before. You'll never find true satisfaction until you've found the Lord, for only Jesus can satisfy your soul. The chorus of it says, only Jesus can satisfy your soul. Only he can change your life and make you whole. He'll give you a peace you never knew, sweet love and joy, and heaven too, because only Jesus can satisfy your soul. Paul says it this way in Philippians chapter 4. We all know Philippians 4:13, Philippians 4:19. Let's go back to verse 10. But he's telling the Philippians, he says, but I rejoice in the Lord greatly. He rejoices in the Lord greatly, that now at the last your care of me hath flourished again. In other words, y'all have taken care of me, wherein you were also careful, but you lacked opportunity. Now listen, not that I speak in respect of want. In other words, is that I'm telling you this because I want something. Here it is. For I have learned in whatever state I am, therewith to be content. You remember, well, I'm going to go ahead and read this because it says it. I know both how to be abased and I know how to be abounded. Everywhere and in everything I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. And those verses right there precede the verse we say so often. And I know that my Lord shall supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory. And I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. That's it. Paul's not saying, if I can get all these things, I can do it. He says, I know that I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, the one who gives me contentment. So we find, he also said in 2 Corinthians 3:5, he says, our sufficiency is of God. In 2 Corinthians 9:8, he says this way, and God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you always, having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work. He's there going way out before us, doing what he can to fulfill us. We are born in this world, and I like what one guy said, with a God hole. And we have a tendency of putting a lot of things in this God hole, but nothing satisfies. We'll put another relationship. We'll put more money. We'll put a better job. We'll put materialism. We'll get that boat if we can get. We can get that better car. We put all these things in that God hole, but only God can fill that hole. Okay? And everything else leaves us lacking. So truly, only Jesus can satisfy your soul. Only he can cleanse your heart and make you whole. He'll give you a peace you never knew, sweet love and joy in heaven too, because only Jesus can satisfy your soul. To be contented in Christ means this: you're joyful, you're peaceful, you're loving, you're pleasant, you're patient, you're satisfied, you're contented, you have expectations. And in whatever state you're in, you know, we jokingly say, well, I'm in the state of Texas. Well, it means whatever state of mind you're in, whatever frame of mind, wherever you're at. If you're in prison, you know, people, they wish themselves out of where they're at, thinking if I could just get that place, I could be happy, be contented. No. You know, Paul rejoiced in whatever place he was at. He said, this is the will of God for me. And he's here with me. And that's the key, understanding that God is with us. No matter where we go, he's there to show us that it's not the people or the places or the things that brings us that contentment. It's only him. And this is why we find if you've been seeking for contentment in all the wrong places, then your contentment is only in Christ. So turn to him, look to him. Let him be to you what nothing in this world can be. Show him your hunger is for him, not for the things of this world. May God bless you.